Hello there, hope you're all doing well. Today's video is just going to be the highlights reel for the Beta Weekend 4 of Icarus that we just had. So we know they changed up the Beta Weekend just a little bit. They decided to delay the desert region by another Beta Weekend, and so they introduced the Missions Beta Weekend for this one that just passed. And this Missions Beta Weekend unlocked both the North and the South Arctic regions. So today I'm just going to go through some of the highlights of the Beta Weekend experience that I had. So the first thing that we noticed was that they introduced a small little new visual update into the game. So now the animals have got a little eye symbol that just floats above them, and basically the symbol is almost like an awareness symbol, and it depicts their alertness towards the player. So for normal animals, this results in them running away once the bar falls up within the eye symbol. But for others, such as the predators, such as the bears and the jaguars and the mammoths, once this bar falls up all the way, it turns red and they become very aggressive and basically start attacking the player. So I think this is a neat little update to the game that just introduced, so it also now has an impact when it comes to things like hunting and moving around the forest and things like that. It also uses almost like a field of view aspect that the animals now have towards the player. And one thing I also sort of realized with the game was running a whole lot smoother than it was in the previous weekends. And that's always an extra plus when it comes to the development of the game, seeing it progress over the weekends. The next highlight, or something very interesting, was we built a little warehouse structure around one of our small little houses that we built, basically to test out whether it would protect that small little warehouse from things like storms and fires and winds and stuff. And we did this at our initial base, and the intention was for it to surround the small little place we called our workshop. Basically, it's the place where we kept all of our storage boxes and our workbenches. And surprisingly, this plan actually worked out quite well. So we went out on a few missions, leaving it there. The main reason for doing it was because we're going to go complete the objectives. And if something happened, we had a base to come back to without having the workbenches or our storage units completely shattered to pieces from storms. And it also helped us reduce the time needed to collect all of the iron and stuff for building proper stone structures. So it's almost like trying to find a little quick, easy way to sort of speed through the game itself. So as we got back after completing our final objective, surprisingly, even though it was battered till the end of the earth, it basically still protected the small little workshop that we had inside. Even if we had to set it alight ourselves to test it at the end, it still worked nonetheless, and I think this might be a nice little neat trick to use in future playthroughs, depending how much time you have, how many resources you have around you. The next highlight is Arctic caves, and these places really are no joke. I think the first thing to mention is that caves are probably going to be your best source of mining the different types of ore, especially if you need a lot of it. This is definitely going to be the place to go, but it definitely ain't a place to play games in. I think the funniest thing that happened inside one of these caves, and it was where my friend and I were hiding out in one of the caves, trying to stay away from one of the storms in the Arctic region, which is pretty much normal. He decided to go wandering around looking to see what the cave was like on the inside. Needless to say, that didn't go too well for him, and he ended up falling right off the edge of the cliff. A sheer drop all the way down to the bottom, dead. Now, this is us on our final mission, our final run for the mission, and let's just say we had the bare minimum on us. We were trying and speed run it and see how it was going to go. So him reviving and trying to find a way down again himself was a no-go. So the only real thing we had was for me to try and go down and save him. Now you must remember these caves. They've introduced a new visual effect of the darkness, where now everything is a lot darker and a lot scarier. So we had to try and find and make a way to get down to him. Now, being us, having only the bare minimums, I needed to hightail it out of the cave to go back into the forest region to actually go and collect resources, so that I could make platforms and ladders just to get all the way down to him. this ordeal took probably about an hour, 2 hours to do to actually get to him. And I had to build ladders, destroy them to get the resources to build things like ramps, figuring out the best pathing, Skyrim jumping from different ledges. But eventually we got there and we made it out alive. So it goes to show you, you're probably gonna need to do a lot of scaffold building to get to the different mines and the different ores down inside the Arctic caves. And definitely do not take it for granted. Finally was the missions. We come to the juicy point of it. So getting a sneak preview into how they may actually run the missions. This is something that was really great. And we know this is only one small little aspect, and I hope they've got a whole lot of varieties of different kinds of missions that you can do. I mean, the previous weekend they introduced collecting an exotic item, being the mammoth tusk. In this weekend they basically set it out that we had to go and retrieve 3 warheads from crash satellite sites. So at each crash site, basically once you get there you got to find it, and you need to temporarily activate the warhead before you can take it. So to activate it, you just go there, activate it, then you got to stay within the boundary of it for there to be a countdown. And during this countdown, let's just say there was a little surprise. Let's say the warhead, once activated, lures in sort of a predator. And this predator is something you can either decide you want to kill, or you can decide you want to sort of sneak, hide, retrieve the warhead, and then just run away from the area. Luckily for us, we went to the first crash site within the forest region. It was a decently low level area, activated the warhead, and out of nowhere, here comes a jaguar. Luckily for us, this jaguar decided it's going to sort of glitch itself out, giving us a nice little easy target to then kill it in the end. But again, would not want to know what it's like if it was going to be running around chasing after you. Once we killed it, once the time ran out, then we were then able to go and retrieve the warhead from the crash site. During our playthrough, within the South Arctic region, within the crash site over there, when we activated the warhead, there really wasn't anything that spawned. On our way back, we sort of realized there was a polar bear lurking around, but it wasn't really too close. So I know this is something that not just us, but a few other players were experiencing, that at some points there wasn't like an actual predator drop or spawn at the point. So this might be something a little bit lucky for now, and maybe later on it will fix and make things a lot more difficult than what it was. I think one of the exciting bits was we got to the final mission. We got to the final crash site. They gave the whole little introduction with the voice and everything. We activated the warhead, now expecting something. We weren't sure what to expect. So we're just standing there within the region, we're keeping our eyes peeled. It's now the Arctic, it's very dangerous, there could be anything. Timer runs out, there's nothing there. So we decide, nope, we're gonna hide a little back to the cave, try and get a sleep in before we try and push all the way out to the Arctic region. And funnily enough, on our way out, I turn around, have a look, and I see a bear charging right for our faces. Coming right from the hilltop like it was a locked-on missile. You don't believe me? Have a look, have a listen, and see what we experienced.
The mammoth picked it up.
Maybe. If it was a mammoth. Something different.
I think it...
Oh, there's a polar bear on the right running down.
Running towards us now?
Yeah, running towards us down.
Are we gonna be fighting this thing, bro?
Probably yes. If it continues. Yeah, here it comes. Oh, this thing is not playing games, friend. Okay, I died. Let's go. I'm gonna go harvest. Yeah, I'm going. I'll meet you in the cave. Well, this thing was locked on. That's for certain. Give me that. Don't worry about the fur. We're not here for your fur this time, friend. You're lucky. Finally, once you get the rewards, you take all the warheads, you go to the dropship, you go back up. This time it automatically slotted it in for us. Whereas previously with the mammoth tusk, it didn't actually have a slot for us to put it into, so it just basically, once you try to put in the slot, it just goes there. It either falls out your inventory or it just vanishes entirely. This time it takes it, tells you completed the objective, all of the fun stuff. You then head in the dropship, in the prospect, go back up. Now you get a nice little email, nice little mail coming up top saying, yep, collect your rewards, you completed the mission. And this is where basically you see the currency symbol within the game. Now this is all my pure speculation, but this I would assume is going to be the type of currency you're going to be using for things like maybe upgrading or unlocking further missions within the game, different types of prospects to do. It could also be for maybe customization of your different types of weapons, your gear, or even the pod that you go down in. Maybe it'll help you unlock a few things a little bit earlier, or bonuses towards missions, who knows. But this is purely my speculation. As always, you can find all the action from my Beta Weekend experience on my Twitch channel down in the description below. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please feel free to add any comments or suggestions of what you would like to see in the next Beta Weekend playthrough or further videos, and I'll do my best to oblige. Otherwise, I hope you all stay safe out there and enjoy the rest of your day.